going to be like the name of our custom HTML tag that we're going to use in the view. We're saying to use it as an element, like use it as an HTML element / tag, and that we're going to be passing information into it via the word info. And we're also going to be using a template URL to, when we grab that data from our scope that we were passing in through info, we're going to say, hey, use this HTML template. All right. Step 2, include this new JavaScript file in the view as a script element. So let's go back over here to our view, and I'm going to kind of put a little section here dedicated to our directives, and use a script tag, copy and paste that. And where is our file located? It's located in js/directives/programlisting.js. Directive. /program listing.js. That step 2 is done. Step 3, next write the directives template. Make a new file, JS. Okay, so let's add a new file to our directives here and call it programlisting.html. Move the HTML from index.html inside the .content div into the directives template. Alrighty. Program listing directive takes in information through the listing, attribute the data, and listing becomes available to use in the directives template. Update the expressions. Next, blah, blah, blah. Next, write the directives template. Make a new file, js/directives/programlisting.html. Move the HTML from index.html into the content, inside the content div into the directives template. Okay, so where is the content div? Content. Content. Okay, so take this. Where does it end? copy that. And apparently it wants us to put it in JS/directive/program listing. JS program listing. Okay, paste that there. Formatting's a little off, but save that. Okay. Step 4. The program listing directive takes in information to the listing attribute. The data in listing becomes available to use in the directives template. Update the expressions in the directives template so that it uses listing to display each item. Okay, so let's look back at our scope. And interesting, I didn't even notice this because I copied and pasted it, but we're supposed to use a listing. We're passing in information through the attribute listing. Okay. Update the expressions in the directives template so that it uses listing to display each item. Okay. So let's find our program listing.html template. And instead of grabbing data directly from the scope, we're actually going to be grabbing it now from this listing property. So no more program. We're going to be passing it in through listing and listing. Save that. In the view, use the program listing directive to display the details of program. Okay, so let's go back to our view and use this new directive element that we built out. Put it inside content, program listing, and we're passing in data to it. Saying, all right, take the data ah. So remember back in our controller, put it inside content, program listing, and we're passing in data to it. Saying, all right, take the data So remember, back in our controller, we have access to this massive object called program. So what we do with our directive that we just built, program listing, um, and notice how it's hyphenated. It's not camel cased, even though, oh shoot, even though we're naming it camel cased here. When we're using the program listing directive here, we need to hyphenate it based on how things are. So notice this is hyphenated based on how things are. So notice this is camel cased. Instead of camel casing it, we're just going to hyphenate it. Anyways, we're passing in information to it through the are. So notice when we're using the program listing directive here, we need to hyphenate it based on how things are. So notice um, and notice how it's hyphenated. It's not camel cased, even though, oh shoot, even though we're naming it camel cased here. When we're using the program listing directive here, we need to hyphenate it based on how things are. So notice this is camel cased. Instead of camel casing it, we're just going to hyphenate it. Anyways, we're passing in information to it through the listing property here. And what are we passing it to? Or sorry, what are we passing in through that listing property? We're passing in the program from our scope, which is this object. And then back in our HTML template, we're no longer accessing the data through program.series. It's now listing, because that's how we've defined it. That's how we've defined it here, where we've defined our directive. We said, all right, we're going to be grabbing data not through program anymore, but through listing. Okay, add another object to the controller. Step 6, add another object to the controller. Feel free to use your favorite TV show. Okay, let's see here. Add another one. So I'm going to say always another show is equal to a new object. Always sunny. Image. I'll just use the same image for now. Episode. Amen. Funny stuff. Hopefully, Dennis comes back for the next season. And save that. Now in our in our view, shoot, I keep on closing the things that I want to open. In our view, we're going to use the same directive, but instead of passing in program, we're going to pass in this new object that we created, another show. So another show. And what am I missing here? Oh, I forgot to close it off. Another important lesson, when you're using these directives, you need to put closing tags. It's sweet. Okay, so it's a little confusing because I didn't use a new image. Um, but anyways, you can see that I'm reusing the code that I exactly just used above, just moving it into its own kind of custom directive. And I'm defining how I'm passing in data to it. And I have two of them, and they're receiving different data, but because we've defined the data to be grabbed by the listing property and to use this same template, we have kind of siphoned off or modulated our code and organized it in a way that's very readable and clean. So we have this program listing directive. We basically created our own custom little chunk of code. And now this part of our custom library is extremely reusable and could easily be taken from this app and moved into another app. All right, so that's it. Yeah, step 7, use another program listing directive to display the details of the new object. We've just did that, and this is the new data. Alrighty, folks, I hope that was clear. I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Äußersten Norden gesprochen. Ich schlage auf Jeremia 31,8.